This is such an intense and intriguing and fascinating and so many big adjectives, words for the Lazarus Project. Was there something about Archie or the series itself that really drew you to be a part of it?
Yeah, as soon as I read the scripts, I was in. I very quickly, maybe a couple of pages in, forgot my hat as a writer, as an actor, sorry, reading for interest, and just became a viewer, an audience member who just was so engaged with the world. And I think because it feels like the Lazarus Project could feasibly exist right now and be living amongst us, and maybe we're all obliviously experiencing time jumps that we're not aware of. And actually I find it quite comforting that possibly there is an organization out there who have our humanity in their hands, and they're going to do their best to protect us. Felt great, and it felt like a really epic show, really high concept, which is really refreshing from the other British dramas I think I've done recently. And I just thought Archie was too good of an opportunity to pass. I mean, she's just a firecracker of a character. She's so fun.
I find her connection sort of immediate though with George. They seem to have a fast bond. I mean, obviously we're at the end of the world sort of, so maybe that's where their instant connection comes in. Did you talk about that at all with the writers, or is there something that you just felt was nicely there innate on the script? Because immediately she just jumps into training him. She jumps into it maybe because he's only one of two, I guess, mutants.
Yeah, well, we kind of talked about how it's like you said, there's only two that this has ever happened to. It's a very unique ability and we should protect it. And I also thought, really, this isn't necessarily in the writing, but I thought we have an arch nemesis who also can feel the time jumps, and if he approaches George and George ends up in that, I said I shouldn't really give any spoilers, but if that entity were to consume George and George was to play for the evil side, then we'd be screwed. I think there's something really lovable about George as well. He's an ordinary man living a very ordinary life. And he's just, he's a good human and he has good values. And I think Archie just warms to him immediately. And they're sort of mentor-mentee, aren't they? But they become friends, it seems.
Yeah, he's an app developer turned hero, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
I found it actually interesting too, is that immediately he's sort of devastated too at the possible loss of Archie straight out the gate because of that mentor-mentee relationship. And it is sort of unfair to him that you get to come back and Sarah doesn't. Is that something that you had to sort of innately portray on screen, knowing how unfair that was? I mean, there's sort of a conveyance in your eyes of sympathy.
Yeah, I mean, the more the series goes on, we learn a lot about the personal sacrifices that a lot of the characters have made, and how the organization has affected their own personal lives and perhaps tested their devotion to the organization. And I think Archie is an incredibly empathetic person, even though she has a very tough exterior and she uses humor as like a shield. I think she is very compassionate and knows exactly what George is going through, because we would have all lost people along the way. You know, we'll all be aware of, everybody has experienced loss in some way, shape or form, and yet the agents obviously relive time and therefore will have probably thought about using the organization to their own personal use. So I think there's an understanding there that it's unfair that, you know, we can't use it for individual reasons. But I think Archie is so devoted. She's one of the agents who really would give her life to the cause. So while she's compassionate, I think she's also resolute in her decision, and the organization's decision to not get personal.
Well, it's interesting you said she'd give her life, but she seems to give her heart as well when it comes to Ross. She gives up a little bit of her personal life to uh, love. I guess, is it because he it's a beautiful banter the two of you have while saving the world at the same time, or trying to take down this nuclear attack, or everything's going on, and the two of you continue to just talk about the possibility of moving in together. Are they connected because they've worked so hard together to save the world, or is there just real love that's developed between them?
I think there's real love between them. I think they have a really special bond. Yeah, I think they're really in love. I think the whole thing completely caught Archie off guard. We sort of learn a little bit about Archie, and we realize that she's been searching a very long time for an organization like the Lazarus Project. We learn quite early on, when all the other agents are introducing themselves to George, that she was MI5. And we will learn later that the MI5 didn't quite satisfy her desire to be as altruistic as possible, you know, to really protect humanity in the purest way possible. And so the project means a lot to her. And I don't think she would go against the rules of sleeping with a colleague unless she was really, really serious about Ross. And I really think she was.
What do you think it is about the Lazarus Project that's just going to make it a fast fan favorite series?
It asks really massive questions about morality and choice in a time where we value society over the individual. It plays with our fears of, is the end of the world nigh? And it's just so high concept, action packed and thrilling, and it will keep people on the edges of their seats for sure. I think it's quite addictive. Should be consumed with caution.
I know. I mean, you have a week in between each episode. It's going to be hard to sit on your hands and wait.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Again, I missed the first bit of what you said.
I said it's so addictive that you're going to have to sit on your hands and wait for a week in between each episode. It'll make it super difficult.
Yeah. I that sort of, but it brings us back to the excitement of early telly watching, doesn't it? When you have to sort of like set an alarm and make sure you're there for the event. It's a nice alternative to binge culture. You really leaves you thinking in between.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time to talk about the series. You do such an exceptional job in it, and I can't wait for more people to get to explore it here shortly.
Oh, thank you so much, Jamie. Thank you. It was really lovely talking to you.